This is one of my smaller family archives, but we're going to see if we can add to the story a little bit. Hi, I'm Beth Saunders, and I'm continuing to work on my family heritage album. My dad was the sixth of 8 children who lived to adulthood in his family, and his oldest brother, Jack, which is a nickname for John Saunders Jr., he was born in 1919 and died in 1992. His first wife, whom I knew as Aunt Helen, died in the 70s. So I remember her, but I'm starting to realize that I didn't know them really well. Now, Uncle Jack married again, and his second wife outlived him into this century, and then she passed away. And I met her daughter. So he had stepchildren through his first and second wives, but no biological children of his own. And I met his stepdaughter, and she was so sweet, and she gave me this little archive of things about him, including, I think this is his discharge paper from the Army in World War II. So I think we'll just go through this little stack, and I'm planning to add it to, you've seen in my past videos, this Natural Beginnings album kit, and I've got one of my uncles in here. We were working on that in the other videos, and I'm going to add Uncle Jack to this. But as we go through, we might want to try to fill in a little bit more of his story. So let's see what we've got here. I have it in this simple sleeve, which is a great place to put stuff until you're ready to work on it. I looked at some of these when I first got it, but that was last year. Some of these things are funeral related, and I'm not going to put them all in my heritage album. I want to be more about their lives. Some kind of warranty. Okay. And somebody planted a tree in memory of him. So that's more funeral things. And this is from the cemetery where they bought a plot. So again, I think a lot of this is going to be funeral things. Yeah, I think that's buying a plot at the cemetery. And a vault. It's all a little bit sad. But we're going to get to some good stuff. Oh, here's his birth certificate. Oh, this is nice. Oh, it's registered. So I think I might put that in the album. It's a good place. I've been putting some original documents in there. If you saw the one with my letters, World War II letters from Uncle Wayne, I can put a link to that video in the notes. But it's a great place to keep some original documents. However, it's not my genealogy file. So, but yeah, I think I'll put this in the album. Another alternative is that I could put this in my genealogy files and make a copy and reduce it and make it smaller for the scrapbook. So that's an idea too. So put that here. Another memorial. Okay. I think that's his actual headstone. Okay. More cemetery stuff. Funeral. Oh. It says there was a death certificate in there, but it's an empty envelope. Okay. And that's the death certificate. So, oh, there are actually more than one. If you've ever been an executor or executrix, as I have, you have to have a lot of official death certificates to do business, to give them to banks and different things. So these are extra. There are some extra copies in here, so I could easily put one in the scrapbook and one in my files. So that's pretty nice. And then these are more recent pictures. Well, I guess from the 90s. I lived away and I only saw them at family reunions. So this is really nice. This is his second wife, Jenny, and there's Uncle Jack in his later years. It's nice because I don't have good pictures of him from that era. And it's got names. And so this, I believe, it says Robert is his stepson from his first marriage. Now, I think Robert grew up with him. He was a little boy when they married, but he's so much older than my generation, and he lived out of state, so I never met him, and he has since passed away. So that's Uncle Jack with his son. That's really nice. That's really nice. So I'm going to definitely put these in the album, but I also want to scan them because I have some files that I'm sharing with my cousins. Okay, cemetery. Veterans Administration. That might be nice to kind of put in the album with some veteran or World War II kind of things. And then more cemetery. And this looks like a real treasure. This appears to be his official discharge, honorable discharge from the Army. And I temporarily put it in a pocket page to protect it because you see it's it's had some damage, not in wonderful shape. But this way I can handle it and look at both sides. And I've got my gloves here because I really want to scan this to preserve it and also share that with my cousins. But I'm thinking about putting the original in a protective sleeve like this in the album so that everybody can see it. Look, it's even got a fingerprint and his signature. Wow. So this was, well, there are two dates of departure. December 1946, private, but there are some 1947 dates of arrival or something like that. So I'll have to think more about the story there. And maybe I can get on Ancestry or Fold3 and find out a little bit more. Oh, it says he was a gunsmith. I didn't know that. Okay, lots of cool stuff on here. There's some descriptions and things like that. 12th Cavalry Regiment. Very nice. Okay, there's his obituary. But since it's in such a nice thing, I might include that. But usually I just put the highlights of the story in my scrapbook album and put things like this, like obituaries, in my genealogy files. Oh, here are some more pictures. He's got his eyes closed there, but like I said, I have very few pictures of him. And I think I took one out of its frame, paper frame. Title to a vehicle. I don't think we need that in the, not for display. And then, it's funeral related, but it's signed by the president at that time and embossed. So that's kind of nice. So many of those things were funeral related, and I had a few things that can go into the album, but I thought I would look in my dad's stuff and see if there are any more pictures of Uncle Jack that we can use. He had things pretty organized in his old negatives. Let's see here. H. Now I'm going to have to go to the other box. Now these aren't in a nice box because they were water damaged before I got them, and I just kind of wanted to contain them in something until I dealt with it. Let's see here. Oh, oof. Now I only found one picture in here of my Uncle Wayne when I was working on their pictures, and it was one that I already had. But let's see if, Jack is in here. Oh, it's not under the J's, it's under the S's. I should have known. Jack, Helen, and Robert Saunders. There are a few. There's my other uncle. And you can't see them very well, but I believe these are pictures that I don't have. So let's see what we can do with them to rescue them. And I got these archival polyester sleeves years ago from a company that isn't around anymore. Oh, I think I got to cut them open. But you can still get things like this from Hollinger Metal Edge, and I'll put a link in the description. I'll also put a link to my past video about scanning negatives. But for right now, we're just going to kind of see if we can rescue these. It's been, I don't know if it got water damage, but you see that this old, I can't remember what they call it, but this container is very wrinkled and yellowed, and we're going to, my plan was, my dad was a photographer, and there were so many negatives that it was a little overwhelming. So my plan was, as I scanned them or used them, then I would put them in the archival sleeves. So it both protects them, it makes it a manageable project, because a lot of Daddy's negatives are people we don't even know because he was a photographer. That way it protects the family pictures by putting them in the new sleeve, and I can also see where I left off on the scanning. So let's see, hopefully this will come out easily. I'm going to put on a nylon glove. Nylon is great for film or negatives because it doesn't have all the little cotton fibers that come off. See if it's stuck on. And yay, it came right out. These are so thick. I think that's somebody with a fish. So I'll just find out where the opening is here. There we go. And slide that right in. And this is so clear, you can actually put it right on the scanner this way. You could take it out, but it doesn't matter. Actually, I take it out because of the shape that I have to use with the scanner. The size for these old negatives. Let's see what else we have. Good, good. I'm so glad those don't seem to be stuck to it. That might have been stuck just a tiny bit. That might be my Aunt Helen when she was young, which I never saw. Or I don't remember, anyway. There we go. Oh, this one is stuck. Darn it. Let's see. Just a little. I'll get my multi-purpose tool here. See if that'll help.
I'll just kind of tease this off very gently. Okay. I had to clean off my multi-purpose tool a little bit and sort of tease that open. Cellophane, I think that's what they called these things. They probably thought it was great at the time. Touching the edges here. And that is 3 men. And I think that might be my daddy over there on the right, but I think Uncle Jack is in the middle. So let's put that in the protective sleeve. My goodness, that looks like it might be a wedding picture. I don't know, they're all dressed up for something. That's really cool. Let's go ahead and scan these negatives.
Okay, let's see how some of those scans turned out. Oh man, look at him. And oh my goodness, I've never seen my aunt that young. And you know, it might be a wedding picture. I don't know how young my dad was when he started taking pictures, but this would have been really young, so I don't know. And then let me turn that one. And as you see, some of them are a little damaged, but that's why it's great to go ahead and scan them now. Let me just turn that. That is not my dad. Maybe that's a friend of his. But goodness, he looks so young. I think there was another one here where he looks really young. Wow. That is so exciting. I only had about 4 pictures from maybe 1990s, early 1990s when Uncle Jack was older. And now I have 5 more pictures from the 1950s that my dad took, including what might be a wedding picture. Actually, it's probably not their wedding because they were married in 1946 and my dad was a lot younger, so he was taking these pictures in the 1950s. Still, it's really cool. So we've taken this little archive and added some pictures from when he was young to it, and I will probably get on Ancestry and or Fold3 and maybe find a little bit more about World War II to add. I scanned the modern pictures too. Bless the person that wrote the year and some names on the back. That's how I knew this was his grown son because I never met him. Although it is in ink pen, which is going to deteriorate the picture, but that's okay. I would rather know who they are and have a year, because if you don't know who the people are, it's not worth much, right? But I did scan the modern pictures too, and I scanned the discharge paper, both sides. I need to, some of those files I just showed you, I know I need to flip them. I see, wedding rings on the wrong side, that kind of thing. I'm never sure with negatives, but I will flip those. I will also rename the files, put these years on them and a description of what's in the picture. So the plan is to get those old black and white photos printed, and then I will either put them on these natural beginnings pages like I started with my other uncle, or some Fast2Fab pages that I have. So hit that subscribe button so I can see you next time when we put these pages in our heritage album. See you then.